All right. Matt Simons, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, thanks. Thanks for having me. How you doing?
I am good. You were busy. And actually, I found out because I'm based in Las Vegas and I guess I saw your tour schedule. You're actually in Vegas today.
I'm in Vegas right now. I'm at the
I
Virgin
know.
Hotel.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
funny. Awesome. I
yeah,
could throw a rock.
you want to come to the show? Let me know. We'll get you. We'll hook you
Oh,
up.
that would be fun. I love your music. I know you have hundreds of millions of downloads on Spotify and other outlets. Really interesting story. California guy. Like you mentioned, we were just talking about you kind of lived in New York for 10 years. So tell me how you got started in music and how you got to where you are now, which is a
Sure.
big question, I realize.
Yeah, I would say I really got serious about music. My early teenage years, I studied a lot of jazz. I played clarinet and then saxophone was what I played for a long time, and I played that all through high school and went to college for jazz performance, and it really helped provide a really great musical base for then when I decided to switch to pop music.
Awesome. And what town did you grow up in LA?
I grew up in the San Francisco Bay Area, actually, in a town
Okay.
called
Cool.
Palo Alto, California.
Great. Yeah. That we all know where Palo Alto is.
Yeah, I guess we do know where Palo Alto is now. It was not on the map until when I was growing up there, but then all the tech companies moved in, and people know about it now.
Exactly. Yeah. And actually, too, I mean, there's a great music scene up there. And I mean, even going up into like Mill Valley and those places, that whole area, San Francisco, of course, has had so many major music people. Who were some of the big influences for you, singer-songwriter wise, when you were getting started?
Oh, sure. The Beatles were like the biggest. I had this Beatles anthology book that I would just play from front to back. I just played all those songs from front to back. See,
Right.
we're in the dressing room, so if people come in, we might get interrupted.
It's all good. Hey, it's real. That's cool.
Yeah, Beatles were number one. I mean, a lot of I was up James Taylor, Paul Simon, Stevie Wonder. That kind of classic stuff.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it's funny because there's a whole lot of folks that draw from exactly that same background because it's such great music and it's still timeless. It still sounds great.
Yeah, timeless.
So when you first got really going, was it sort of the Spotify path for you, or how did that happen for you?
It was strange. I was in college and I made an EP, which I've since removed from the internet because it doesn't really hold. It does not hold up as a timeless classic like the old Beatles records.
Well, we all have those.
We all have those. But I started advertising it on Facebook. This was right in the early days of Facebook ads. I would put up an ad that says, "Oh, you like Jason Mraz, and check out this asshole. It's not Jason Mraz. Like John Mayer, check out this guy. It's not John Mayer." And ended up, because there were not a lot of people doing that at the time, it ended up being a really cheap way to make internet fans. So I probably had amassed about 10,000 Facebook fans from that, and I've spent about $1 a day doing it when I was in college. Right. So, and one of the people who clicked on that ad lived in the Netherlands, and she was a writer on a TV show. And then my first full-length record, when it came out, she placed one of my songs on that TV show, and it just became an overnight viral thing in the Netherlands in 2013.
And that's the interesting part about your story, because you actually became really huge in Europe and then came back to the States, and which is a story that's happened a few times. I always think of the Stray Cats kind of did the same thing. They went to England hoping that somebody would discover them, and it actually worked out.
And it worked. That's so funny. Yeah, it wasn't a planned thing. It was never like, oh, go make it big overseas. It was just I didn't know how to reach an audience, and I didn't really have the money to just go tour around and play. And this was a really great way to do it. And then I had a few years of just exclusively playing in the Netherlands. Like I didn't really play anything in other countries. I would sell out all my shows in the Netherlands, and I'd travel even across the border to Germany, and maybe 50 people would show up.
Yeah, it's fun. You know what? That's a cool way to you kind of get to learn your craft. And not only singing, songwriting, but also performing, right?
Totally. Being able to really play. I didn't have a lot of experience playing for big audiences, so to do it in just this one little, place about the population size of Connecticut, that's like it's fun.
How many actually Spotify's downloads do you have? It's got to be over 500 million, or
Actually,
it's
just hit
quite.
a billion the other day. So
Wow, that's
Tumbleweed's
crazy.
got a billion streams since 2015. Yeah.
Yeah, does that kind of blow your mind, or is it
Yeah,
just?
that's a big number. I mean, I remember when a million felt like a lot. Also, like I didn't. There's a time I never thought I'd hit a million streams. I was getting so few every day, and then yeah, it's I've been getting like I guess 150 to 200 million every year for the last however many years, and it adds up
Yeah,
after a while.
yeah, and that's it's awesome because that is like real. That's not like record label numbers. That's like people, real fans clicking the button and listening, right?
Yeah, I feel really fortunate to have the audience that and having a few songs that just keep getting streamed. Even though they've been out for years, the streaming kind of just stays consistent, which is what you
Yeah,
really want. You want, yeah, Catch and Release is definitely one of those songs.
right. Yeah, and there's also a really great remix of that tune that's on your Spotify.
Yeah, that's mine. That's my number one song, the
Yeah,
Deep End remix.
it's awesome. Yeah, you know what? It's cool. I mean, I was checking out the live videos, and I mean, not only are you great, but man, you got a killer band. I love your
Oh,
guitar
thank
player.
you.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been really lucky to work with just awesome musicians over the years.
yeah. That's and it's also like they become your family on the road, right?
Totally. You just like, yeah, it's funny. I used to tour with a band that was all Dutch guys, like really really talented Dutch jazz musicians. And in the last couple of tours, I've actually started bringing a few friends from America, and it's funny. It's different, because when you got all the Dutch people together, they kind of hang out and they talk Dutch to each other, and then I kind of just
Right.
get to
Yeah.
be like the boss, and I just sort of I'm off to my on my own. But then
Yeah.
getting bring some like close friends like my buddy Chris Ayer, who's I've been touring with for almost over a decade now. Having him come and play this U.S. tour and then over in Europe, it's pretty fun, especially because the days of driving around in his Nissan Altima just all over the country and playing to a dozen
Yeah.
people here and there.
Yeah. It's a little payback for him, right?
And it feels good to get on that tour bus and be like, yeah, all right,
Yeah.
let's do this.
Yeah, and it's nice to have your buddies and kind of share that experience because
Totally.
it's hard to really explain what that is unless you're actually there doing it, right?
Totally. It is a job, but it doesn't, it's surprising that it gets to be our job.
Yeah. So your tour that you're on currently is pretty extensive, major venues. You're with the Two Cellos,
Yeah.
which is also another viral group, mega viral group. What's tour life for you? Like, I know you have a young baby, and I saw the videos. I'm not sure how old they are now, but what's that
Yeah,
like for you?
he's 8 months old now, and it's tough to be away. Luckily, it's two installments of like 3 weeks at a time.
Okay.
Any more, and I feel like any more of that's really going to start to feel like I get to see him tomorrow, and
Okay.
I've only been gone about 3 weeks, and I get to see my wife and baby tomorrow. So that it is a long time, but it's manageable. And then we'll have 3 weeks off, and then 3 weeks in Europe, and then kind of take a break for a while.
Mhm.
But it's been really great. The Two Cellos taking really good care of us. We feel like when we need something, we can get it. And you never know as the opener how like receptive everyone's going to be, but they've been
Right.
really
Yeah.
cool helping us out, and we just sort of follow them around the country.
Yeah, the opening thing is tricky, right? Because like I remember the story about Hendrix opening for the Monkeys and him
Oh
getting
yeah,
booed off stage. It's
oh my
like, wait a
god.
minute.
If it's
just
yeah, if it's
just
the
imagine.
wrong, that's just the wrong. Yeah, booing Hendrix off stage, unbelievable. You never know. Like going into this, I was a little nervous. It's like, what if this isn't the right audience? What if if it was all classical music fans, then that would be like might not be the right fit. But
Right.
because they do something that's their technique, they have this incredibly high level of technique on the cello, but they use it to play AC/DC and
Right.
Living on a Prayer and Hallelujah, all these like very accessible songs. Um, it feels like us starting out, we do like 7 songs, a hard 30 minutes, and everyone's really quiet and they listen and they're really engaged. And I got a lot of, nice internet messages after every
Yeah.
show. So it's kind of the ideal situation as an opener.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys get to kind of pull from each other's audience, which is great. Helps expand your fan base. People that maybe haven't heard you. I mean, your music is great. What would you say your style is? It's not really singer songwriter. it's more rocking that, I guess. But what would you say?
Well, if I would describe it in 3 words, I would call it an identity crisis.
That's okay though.
That's the answer. Like,
Right.
what do I? Yeah, I do draw from so many different influences. That feels like it's not. It is pop, but it's got some. I love folk music. I love jazz. I love soul music, singer-songwriter, just kind of the whole thing. I just want to draw from it all.
Yeah, I mean the influences that you mentioned, you hear that in your music, but also too for the listener for a live show, it makes it awesome, right? Because you're kind of switching it up, and you don't get handcuffed by like I can only play slow ballads or I can only
It would be hard if we had to do only. I feel like you play in big arenas. You gotta. Luckily, we have a drummer who can give a nice 4 on the floor. Give it a get the people into it, get that energy up.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you're in Vegas tonight at the Virgin, that's a great room.
Yeah,
that's the former Hard Rock Cafe or Hard Rock Casino.
That's right. Used to be Hard Rock.
Yeah, and then tomorrow you're actually at the Hollywood Bowl. Like, what's that gonna? Have you played there before? Or what's that gonna?
I've never played the Hollywood Bowl. With my grandparents who are singers, they used to sing at the Hollywood Bowl back in the day.
Wow!
So it's pretty fun to now get to go and play there. It's 17,000 person venue. It's huge. I've been there a couple times to see music, but I've never played there. And I'm coming back home. Now I live in LA. So, and be able to be like roll into town and be like, oh, I got a gig. I'm playing at the Hollywood Bowl. It feels pretty good.
Yeah, the whiskey or the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah,
choices. That's kind of a full circle, cool moment too. Like you said, with your grandparents, and I mean that's such an iconic venue, right?
Yeah, they used to do a lot of like choral stuff there. They would have like they're members of like pretty prestigious choirs that would perform there. So.
Yeah,
it's fun. Cool.
and then some famous other bands that you've been influenced by. So that's awesome.
And they also played there too.
Exactly right. So what are you doing recording wise right now? I know you have singles that have just recently come out. You have a new record coming out soon. Tell us about the new record.
So the new record comes out in May, and yeah, I've been making it over the course. I feel like the first song I wrote for this album I wrote in 2018. I'm going to say in the summer. No, maybe it was it might have even been 2019 that I wrote the first song for this one. And I've just, I did a lot of writing sessions, and that's the way that I make albums is I just kind of write, see what comes in. And then after 10 to 12 songs, like, okay, we got a record. That's why that's one of the reasons I call it identity crisis. Cause it's like,
right. It's
there's not a lot of cohesion between the songs necessarily.
Yeah, it's the funny thing too, like where they have in Nashville, they have like the songwriting appointments. Like, would that be like a really weird thing for you?
Like 9 to noon.
Exactly.
You got your 2 to 5. Yeah, no, I mean, I like casually getting, working with different producers and a lot of different writers. This record is, and like I've kind of always done that with my albums, and maybe this is the last one that I do like this, where I just sort of collect songs, like almost like. It's not an album. It's a playlist, and the one thing that is similar throughout is my vocal, because the productions are all different, and I like it that way. I don't necessarily love a record where it all sounds the same.
Yeah, so, I mean that's the thing, because it can be too sanitary, right?
Yeah. But there's also something really beautiful about that, where you can just kind of turn it on and it just plays, and which is maybe something for the next album that it's time for me to take a look at.
Yeah, awesome. And what's your advice for young artists, young singer-songwriters? It's a challenging world, as you know, I'm sure. But what's some of the really important lessons that you've learned?
I mean, I think there's no skipping steps. I feel like a lot of times young artists are looking for shortcuts for how to get to the part where they have a large audience and they play big shows, but it's happened a lot of times before, where even if you get the nice viral song, you have a hit and you're not really ready for it, then you're going to drop right off. It's going to be really hard to come back. So there's no substitution for thousands of hours of practicing, thousands of hours of playing shows. I don't necessarily think you have to get into a car and drive all around the country and play a bunch of small venues. Like that used to be the advice. I think you play your local coffee shop, and just see if they can set up a gig for 3 hours twice a week, you know, and after a year, you've played how many hundreds of hours doing that?
Yeah.
Start to get better.
These days too, like live stream, all the social media stuff has sort of democratized that whole world where record labels used to have the stranglehold on all that, but now it's changed, right?
Yeah, and you can building all that up is really important, but you're also going to have a lot more luck if you're good first.
Right.
You kind of if you took the time to get, you got to take the time to get good. So,
yeah, you have to allow yourself to suck.
Yeah, and writing's the same way. It's like write 100 songs, you know, before, and then hopefully you get to one that's kind of how I did. I wrote about 100 songs before I got to the place that I was proud of the song that I wrote. I was like, okay, this I would record and release.
Yeah, it's a process. I mean, it's kind of fun to look back and see the growth, even though maybe you don't want people to see the first album.
Oh, man, that first album, it's not easy to find on the internet. It is out there somewhere, but it's not easy to find.
We'll dig one up somewhere. Like, yeah, thanks, buddy. Awesome. How can people find you online?
You know, my favorite social network is Instagram. That's like the easiest one to connect. But of course, I got Facebook and TikTok, and I got my website has all the tour dates. You know, I'm doing some more tour dates over in Europe in September. I've probably got like 3 weeks of shows over there. So yeah, just Instagram, come follow along.
All right, awesome, man. Hey, thanks for joining us. I know you got a very busy day, and I appreciate you.
A little bit. Oh, thank you. You're very welcome. Thanks for got to make time for you, man. It's great.
Well, I appreciate it very much, and have a great gig in Vegas. I'm actually playing across the street tonight, so I'll wait at you.
Yeah. Amazing. Where are you playing?
Yeah, we're playing at the Alexis Park, doing a little show.
Awesome. What time?
That's at 8:00. Actually, it's actually an Elvis show.
Same. Incredible. Same start time. All right. Well, if we know we're done here at 8:30, so we can walk across the street. Maybe we'll come check you out.
Okay. Well, and either way, I'll wave at you and say hi. Hey, man, have an awesome day. Have a great tour, and I'm excited. I love your music. I encourage everybody to check you out. It's really great stuff. Also, the live videos are terrific. So.
Oh, thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Have an awesome day, man.
Thanks, you too.